Hey everybody, with the holidays coming up, I wanted to kind of give you some tips and tricks to make it a little easier on you so that you're not stuck behind the scenes putting everything together, especially if you have a large family and there's going to be a lot of food, a lot of people. So, a couple of the first tips that I want to give you is one, make a plan. Make sure that you kind of have the steps laid out of what you need to do, what you need to accomplish, when things are going to happen, so that you can kind of keep on task and make sure that you haven't missed anything. Or you can even look at it and go, you know what, that's not really that important this year, and you can cross things off your list to make it easier. Another one is to think of who's coming. If you need to have a seating chart so that if there's a little family tension, you can kind of keep those people separated, making sure that you have the proper flow in your home. How do you want people to get food if you're doing buffet style and exit so there's not a clog up? Don't have the buffet next to necessarily the tables, because that can, as people sit down, it creates more of a jam. Have them, if you've got an open kitchen like I do, have them come in one way and out the other. And then have them help. If they're able to help and old enough to help, have them come help so that not everybody is stuck in the kitchen or one person stuck back there. I really want to talk about the food, though. I think that's sometimes the biggest thing. It can take the most time. It can be a lot of work. So I want to share my screen and show you what I do to keep my food list manageable. So what I like to do is I create a kind of like a table of what are the items that I'm going to be making. Where are they going to be cooking? So I've got like a double oven. So I have a top oven, a bottom oven. I have a stove. I've got my quick cooker. I've got my slow cooker, and I've got a roasting pan and the stove itself. So I like to list where I'm going to put those things. I like to list out what the prep time is going to be, and how long each thing's going to take to cook, and what temperature they need to be cooked on. And I do that so that I can try to gauge things together. So if things are both going to be on the top oven, see, both of these are 400, so I don't have to change the temperature. Once one comes out, I can put the next one right in and not waste time waiting it to preheat or go down in heat. So I try to gauge those together as well. And then I list if anything can be made the day before. For instance, my potatoes can actually be made the day before because I use sour cream and cream cheese to kind of keep them moist so they don't dry out. Then I just throw them in the oven the next day or the day of to kind of warm up, and they're ready to go. Then the next thing I do is I take those items and I figure, when do I want to eat? Okay, we want to eat at 5 p.m. And then I work backwards and I create, a list of times on every half hour. And then I go through and I list, as you can see here, I've got prep, top oven, bottom oven, the roaster, the quick cooker, slow cooker, and stove. And I list where each thing needs to be and at what time. So like the turkey prep will happen at noon. The turkey goes in at 1:30. And, I know it's going to take me about 30 minutes to do that. So I could probably squeak it in at 1 if I need to, but I know it doesn't have to go in until absolutely 1:30. The green bean casserole prep, and then where it's going to be cooking. And I list those things out, and then I'll have this on my iPad or something, or even print it out next to me, and then I can just check off as I go what's been done. Or if I have people helping me, they can check off once they're done. And that's another thing that I recommend is, having helping hands, like I said before. And so one of the things that I like to do is create stations. And what I'll do the night before is I'll look at what things I'm going to be cooking, what pans or bowls I have to put them in if there's a mixing bowl, and then I like to take the non-perishable items out and put them in those bowls or pan. So for instance, the green bean casserole, I'll take the ceramic pot out of the slow cooker, and I will put like the can of green beans, the can of cream of mushroom soup, the can of French fried onions, any of those non-perishables that don't need to be in the fridge, I'll put those in there, and that's a station. For the sweet potato casserole, I'll put the yams in there if they need to be before they're peeled and whatever. I'll put any of the the brown sugar. I'll even measure things out and put them in little prep bowls with a lid, have them set ready to go so that people can just open and dump as they need to. And then I'll create stations. And not everything needs to stay in the kitchen. So for instance, my roaster, my quick cooker, and slow cooker actually are in the dining room because that's where I do my buffet. And so once they're done, I just have to open the lids. They're ready to serve. I don't have to move them to something else if I don't want to. But then doesn't take up as much room in the kitchen for all of that. And so my roaster is a plug-in roaster, by the way. So I can just have that somewhere else, and it can be cooking and not taking up space in my kitchen or my oven. And then I will assign people to do different meals at those stations. And then I just pull out the day of whatever items they need, like if it's milk, butter, eggs, what have you, cheese. And then what's nice about that is they get a station that they're in charge of, and they know the time that they need to work on it, what time it needs to be in to whatever, what temperature and time and everything's at. I'll print out the recipe if they need the recipe right there. And what's nice is then by having it spread up between different people is not everybody stuck in the kitchen. We all get a turn to be in the kitchen, and we all get a turn to be out with the rest of the company and enjoy each other's presence and be there for the party, for the food, and just to enjoy the day. So we're not all stuck somewhere, or I'm not all stuck in the kitchen all day long. So this is a great way to keep track of that, to keep on task, and then to have people help you. So this is huge. Having a list like this can be really helpful. And you can do the same thing if you do a holiday cookie list. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be this year. I'm going to do the same exact thing because I do a lot of cookies. But instead of just one day, I'm going to have it kind of like a month list with times broken out, or or days or weeks. And then I list out what cookies I like to make, or what I'm going to definitely make, and then I can check them off as I go. So it's just a way that you can really keep organized. Make sure if you're spending money that you are keeping a budget, and that you're actively recording down what you've spent, so you can make sure that you're staying on target. If you have a lot of people coming, definitely get a guest list, whether you use a Facebook invite or traditional invites. Make sure that you get those people responding. Call them if they haven't responded and say, hey, are you coming or not? So that you can kind of gauge your food, because there's no point in making a lot of food if not a lot of people are coming. Invest in those reusable Rubbermaid containers so that people can take home leftovers, so that you don't need it all. If you're thinking, hey, I need to get a bigger freezer, think about a fridge, because a fridge also has a freezer in it, but then you also have a fridge that you can use for leftovers, or even to keep prep items in so that people won't touch them. And when you go to make something, oh, we're out of milk because somebody drank it. Well, no, I've got some in my prep fridge. My family, they know that prep fridge, that items are not to be touched until I move them to the main fridge. Then they know they're free for all. So that way then I don't have to worry about running out of anything beforehand. And you can keep it in a garage if it's attached. You can keep it in your basement. And it's a great, you can have, it gives you a lot more room and a lot more options. Think about also a seating chart if you're going to need that. You can do the similar thing. You can create a little table, and you can, write down who's going to be sitting where. And just kind of make sure that people are there. Create a little name tag for them there. Think about little details too that may make it fun for them. Have a little dessert treat, or a little thing of mints right there at the end of the table for them. Incorporate it into their name tag somehow. Attach little Hershey's Kisses or something to the name tag, or create some little ornament. If it's a holiday Christmas party, turn their name tag into an ornament. Use an ornament and put their name on it, paint their name on it, and set those at each place. And not only do they have a name tag where they sit, they get to take that ornament home and put it on their own tree. And you could even put, Christmas 2022. So just think of little things that you can do that make it special for them, and they get to walk away with a little something. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be much. It's just simple. Look at things that you have and how can you repurpose them and make them special for somebody else. So I hope those tips help. If you want more tips, you are always welcome to contact me, and we can discuss your event and how you can make it amazing. And if you're overwhelmed and you're like, I just need somebody to take this on for me, Blue Phoenix Events is here for you. Just give me a call, and we'll talk about what I can do for you.